Feel the bay. It's a boxception.
Welcome back to the podcast. So you're listening to the Dragon's Well. I am Maverick. I'm here with my co-host Sprite, and today we are going to talk about some video games. What's up, Sprite?
Games. What's up, man? Been doing pretty good.
Good.
Kind of have a break off of work right now.
Break off of work. It's nice. So. It's nice. Getting a little bit of video game time in.
That's right. Anytime we can.
That's right. Anytime. We work. We actually work at the same place, and we stay so busy all the time that we rarely get to sit down and actually do this. But and I've had some sickness and stuff going on. We've both been like coughing and can't breathe. So this is kind of postponed our third episode, but I mean
that's kind of me anyways. Can't breathe, but it is what it is.
We are back with episode 3. Excited to talk to you about some exciting news that happened last week.
Yeah.
We can start off with some new games. I did see that. Well, I guess these aren't new games. They're just kind of some highlights of some stuff. I saw somebody asking this week about Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Is it time for the second one?
Mystery Dungeon.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. They have a remake on the Switch?
Oh yeah,
is it a remake or is it just a port?
It is a remake with add-ins to the game. There's some additional things. They have some like updated monsters. Monsters. People are going to flame me for that. For not calling them Pokemon.
You're getting destroyed.
Yeah. That's all right.
In the Twitter sphere.
Trust me, not the flex, but I've had an immense amount of hours on Pokemon, like Pokemon challenges, some hard stuff. So, but no, there was a bunch of like added mons, like from newer generations. But it was a copy of the original, the very first one on Game Boy Advance.
Oh, so it was a Game Boy Advance game.
It was a Game Boy Advance game, yeah.
Okay.
It was so awesome, too. They had the personality test in it, and that determines, like, what mon you are. Unlike this new one, though, this new one has a personality test, and you go through it. And so, like, it'll ask you very vague questions, like, do you get scared easy? And, like, the answer is, like, no, never. One is, like, yeah, sometimes, and the other one's, like, who said that?
So for all you Potter fans, it's like the Sorting Hat.
Yeah, kind of.
Which Pokemon house did
you
get?
Like, determine, so, like, if you say a bunch of things that are, like, brave in nature,
Yeah.
like, you're like, do you ever think it's okay to run from a fight? And if you're like, no, never, I'm that guy,
Right.
Then you're gonna get like Machop, right? Because Machop's that guy. But
well, I don't know. I think let's see. I want to say the demo came out. I think I played through the demo. It was a pretty long demo.
Yeah, it was good. They did a great job.
I think it just came out at the wrong time. I remember looking at getting it, and then something else big came out, and I ended up spending more time on that, and never ended up picking it up. But
I love the original. The original was so fun. Like I said, the personality test, and then the actual storyline was good too. And then, like, it's hard. Like, it was a hard game. Like, I found myself whiting out multiple times. There was just a lot that I had to kind of watch, But, but like I said, it's just awesome because it's like one of the questions could be like, do you like eating Twinkies? And if you're like, yeah, I love Twinkies, then you become a Jigglypuff,
Oh yeah.
And you're just like, let me get or like a Lickitung or something.
I would probably be a Snorlax.
Yeah.
But no,
I feel that. Aggron.
May have to pick that up when it
big boy
possibly goes on sale if Pokemon games ever actually go on sale.
Oh no.
Another thing we saw that this week, or I guess it's been a couple weeks now, but Monster Hunter Rise. I don't know if you played that. Now I bought it on Switch because it originally came out on Switch. unlike Monster Hunter World, which came out on I think everything but
Switch.
anything Nintendo.
Yeah.
But Monster Hunter Rise, I spent this is the first Monster Hunter game I actually picked up and played through, and I played a good bit of it, and then I know Sunbreak came out, which was the DLC for it, which I don't think I bought that. And then, but they've sold like 40 million in unit sales.
Man.
Now that's based off all the platforms, I think, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love Monster. I mean,
it's a great game. Like, and that Monster Hunter kind of started this weird like subgenre of games that like mimic that of like I found myself playing this one game when I first bought the Switch. I didn't have a lot of games, so I looked at the free to play stuff, that I can get online. One of the games was a game called Dauntless, right?
Oh yeah,
and Dauntless it's pretty fun. It was pretty fun. It was buggy because it was free to play, and it kind of had some weird options that you can do. But
it was like Monster Hunter. It
was a Monster Hunter like clone, yeah. And so it really, and there was a whole bunch. I think one of them was called like God Killer or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it like I said, it's just it's so popular that it made a whole bunch of other games kind of be like it.
Well, I think its popularity probably started more in Japan. I like a lot of stuff. I know there's a game we're going to talk about later that was, I don't remember if it was exclusive. No, it was, I think it was on GameCube. But a lot of this stuff starts out in Japan, and finally when it gets over to us, I mean, it just sells astronomically well.
I watch a lot of like competitive gaming. Right, of games that I used to play or still play. So this past week I've been watching like a lot of Pokemon Unite stuff, but I also was super big into League of Legends, and so I still kind of keep up with the professional scene there. And so there's a lot, and I've noticed this. It's weird that there's a lot of games that come out of like Japan, right? A lot of games. A lot of game genres and companies that are derived there. And it's strange that like Japan hardly ever does well in any of those games.
Well, and the thing is
like Korea and China, great. I mean, notorious, especially in like League of Legends. It's like normally it's those two that are like top tier, right? Those are the ones that you're like shooting for to like try to knock off their pedestal, right? Because Korea and the Chinese leagues win often, right? Now, League I think is derived from China, but it's still strange to me that like the culture, especially in Japan, is there's so much like gaming and things like that. But when it really comes down to it, like professionally, it's not something that they pursue.
Oh, that's because most of them are still playing Pokemon.
So,
I mean, they're either playing Pokemon or
Splatoon. That's the thing too, though.
So Splatoon is a big hit. Splatoon is a big hit in Japan.
And the Pokemon professional leagues, Japan is not. I don't. And I could be mistaken on this, but like I watched a little bit of competitive Pokemon, and I think it's been a long time since there's been somebody from Japan that's actually won it.
Really?
Which is, once again, strange. Like, it kind of leads me to believe that... Now, we're going to get way... Look, I'm adjusting here, right? We're going to get into it. Only at the Dragon's Well.
Only at the Dragon's Well.
But it leads me to believe... I've heard this, right? Now, once again, this is China, right? So it's different. It's completely different. But I've heard that like something like TikTok, right? How TikTok here kind of rewards with the algorithm, people for doing silly stuff here in America. Well, there I've heard that it rewards like ingenuity, right? It rewards people that like, so the algorithm there in China is pushed for people to be creative and inventive and like really discovering talent there.
Right.
All right. And inspiring people to like pursue these things. Well, as much as in China can be inspired to do something that the government not dictating them to do.
That they haven't, that they haven't filtered through their.
But look, I'm gonna have a spy balloon above my house. See, I'm gonna have a spy balloon just chilling. Right, the Chinese gonna be.
It'll take them 6 months to shoot it down.
Look, I got a few guns in my house, man.
Man, that. Oh.
I'll shoot it down myself.
There you go.
But no. So I'm wondering if maybe that's the same thing where. Because obviously culturally is so much different there in the Eastern or Eastern cultures compared to here the Western cultures.
Well, and that was what Japan had such a problem with when COVID came down, was because they weren't used to working at home. I mean this home work was not something that they did. They went to the office and they did their work, and then they came home and they spent time with their family, and that all of that changed. And so for them, that's why you see all these games that a lot of the stuff that comes out of Japan, especially with Nintendo, you see all this stuff that's either been postponed or, Retro Studios is, correct me if I'm wrong, it's in Austin or Houston. I can't remember. I think it's in Houston.
What studios?
Retro Studios, the one that's working on Metroid.
Yeah.
So, they're Texas based.
Yeah.
And so, they have no excuse for not putting out a game that they announced 7 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
But kind of, I don't know. I guess moving on, we talked about some stuff.
just one of those thoughts that hit your brain, and you're like, I gotta wonder if maybe there's something to it.
Right.
Not trying to sound like it's conspiracy theorists, because I know they got their own stuff going on, but
right.
I'm just wondering why a lot of these games are deriving there yet not succeeding on the professional level, right? And it leads me to believe that maybe it's not something that they, encourage pursuing. Right? Maybe it's not rewarded as much as, say here.
Well, and it probably is kind of like what we talked about, more traditional culture like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably are very limited on what they can do. And the thing is I mean, they're very creative. So anything that they probably do,
I would love to go there one day.
Oh, absolutely. We're gonna take
sure.
we're gonna take a trip.
I nerd
Anybody
out.
that would like to sponsor a trip to Japan,
yes, please.
We're ready to go. I don't know if our families would enjoy that, but we would.
Well, as long as we just got enough for us,
Oh yeah. No. I think my wife would kill me.
For sure, mine would.
Just
wouldn't even have a
because-
chance.
Just because she wants to go, not because
and
I'd be leaving the kids with her.
Here's the thing, too. Mine is better. Never mind. I'm not even going to say that. Speaking of the spy balloon,
Oh,
she can hit it better than I can. Let me just say that.
You're going to get in trouble. Yeah,
I am.
So, I know we're kind of a couple weeks behind doing this because of illness and work and stuff like that. But, one of the things that released, I guess it's been a couple weeks, maybe even 3 weeks now, Dead Space released, the remastered Dead Space.
Yeah, nothing like being terrified.
And I've never played Dead Space, so I thought, I'm going to pick this up. And then I realized, no, I made a commitment to only buy X number of games this year. And Dead Space was not on the list. So I think I'm going to wait for a sale.
Didn't make it to the list.
But yeah.
So let me ask you this. Like, trying to challenge your resolve a little bit here.
Yeah.
You get a killer deal on a game, but it's like one that you're like, I can live without, but this is like a great deal. You're not going to splurge on it and just be like, that's one. That's an additional one.
No, not this year, because I mean there are so many heavy hitters coming out this year that I decided that I probably have the money to do it. I don't have the time.
The time, yeah.
It's a time thing, and I'm thinking, okay, so the last couple of years I've bought more games than I normally would in a year, mainly because nothing came out in 2020. I mean, it was Animal Crossing, and I mean that's I mean, the Animal Crossing got
We're in the
our
middle-
family through COVID.
Yeah, I was about to say in the middle of COVID, so they're like,
Yeah.
"Come here, start victory gardens at your house,
Right.
and online."
Yes, absolutely.
It's like, thanks.
And so that was
Getting us through the depression.
well, right. And I got to the point where I was like, well, okay, I'm done with this game. And then they started releasing some, and I'm like, okay, now I need to, because I'd caught up on my backlog, and I mean, speaking of games that I just saw, it was a Nintendo trailer this morning. They had the direct last week, but Riot Games has like 3 new League of Legends stories, like games coming out for certain characters.
Yeah, they've been they released it a while back, but they've been talking about it forever, and they released that one roguelike game. I forgot the name of it now, but it's on Switch. They released that roguelike game that I thought did pretty good, and then they released Valorant, which obviously is like still up there with like CS:GO and many of the other great FPSs.
I don't think Valorant ever made it to Switch though.
No, Valorant I think is just solely PC. I could be mistaken on that.
I thought Valorant was coming to Switch. I remember something about that.
I could be mistaken on that. I've never played Valorant. Right, I'm a huge League of Legends fan. Never played Valorant. But then they're dabbling in everything.
Yeah.
Right. Like and I think Riot Games is doing well.
Well, and then Ruined King was the
Ruined King
was like an RPG.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah. No, that's an RPG. That's like a turn-based strategy RPG game.
I think it's the Ruined King. I think that's the one that's on Switch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but there's another one too. There's a runner.
And I think they're actually trying to make like an MMO. I could be mistaken on that, but I think they're working on like an MMO RPG style League-based game. Which, here's the thing, the lore is insane. Like it's up there with like, I would say it's up there with like World of Warcraft, and I don't know if I would put it up there with like Lord of the Rings, but it it's good. Right. Like it has so many different things, and if you've watched, there's a Netflix series out there on Netflix, or there's a Netflix series on Netflix.
Yeah. Right.
There's a box inside of a box. It's a boxception. We just got the front clip.
Yep, there you go.
There's a box inside of it. I'm a dude playing another dude.
Box.
There's another dude. Boxception. But there's on Netflix. There's a series that was made from Riot Games.
That was Arcane. Yeah.
And that's about. So there's a few of the main characters are actual playable characters, like Jinx, which is starts off. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but she's one of the main characters, and then Vi, which is who you really follow, right? And them two are sisters. And then you have like Caitlyn and Jace and Heimerdinger and a bunch of these other guys, right? That are all playable characters, which was so awesome to be able to see. And that was just one of the cities that you look at, right? Within that whole show, we only dabbled in, well, technically 2, because there's an upper part of the city and a lower part. And the upper part's called Piltover, the lower is called Zon, right? Which is kind of like a chaotic, ruffian area.
Right.
But that was only one city, right? You got things like Ionia and Demacia and all these other places that are like within this world, and they're so descriptive on a lot of the characters' backgrounds, and all of them are intertwined in some way, shape, or form, right? So when they hit what they call the Summoner's Rift, which is the map that you play on in League, there's a reason behind why those characters are there, not just being thrown in a little arena for them to fight each other.
Well,
there's a purpose behind it. Well, kind of, right? The Nexus part is a little confusing because there's not really a purpose there.
So what was the
like there's some that are like actual enemies with each other, like they've battled in war before.
So like what was the Blizzard game that kind of was based off League's playstyle?
The Blizzard game. Oh, Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
played
Yeah,
that. I played that a good bit.
Because it
that was
pulled
cool.
from the whole like Blizzard universe. I mean, because I know Diablo was in it, and
they had
Thrall
StarCraft, and they had World of Warcraft characters. Yeah, it was good. They took a few different approaches to it, which you have to. You can't just make a carbon copy of League, but. See, there is a little different though because these were already established characters from their own games, and correct me if you know anything about Heroes of the Storm because I've only played very little of it.
I've played very little.
Maybe 10 hours, maybe, which is like a day, right? And MOBA, because most games last 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So, but I think in that one, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think that they tied. They might have tried to tie it together in some way, shape, or form.
I don't think so.
I think they were just pandering to the audience that they already had,
right? And
then we're trying to pull from the MOBA audience that might have been in love with say Diablo and StarCraft and all these other things, and we're playing League at the same time, and they're like, hey, why don't we just cut out League? And just play with the characters that we already know and love because we've played all these other games.
Right. Well, and Blizzard's notorious for that because, I mean, anytime, and they're always a little behind, but, when I remember when the farming simulators came out, like Farmville and stuff like that for iPhone, Facebook.
I played so much Farmville. That was my first, big game.
No, I didn't.
I played so much Farmville.
No.
I was a Facebook warrior, man. I got on there not to post, but to play. When people
Farmville.
are like, you're always on. I'm like, there's a reason. I was like, my corn is growing.
That's funny. That's funny.
I got tomatoes planted, man. Well, I'm waiting.
But Blizzard would do that. Blizzard would steal from that. I mean, and I say steal. I mean, they would borrow that idea and they would dump it into World of Warcraft. Because I remember there was an area at one point, the guy's like, hey, you need to do this and you need to farm, you need to grow this. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. I just want to venture through and
I just went through this raid where somebody shot fire blast at me.
Yeah.
And now you want me
to farm.
You want me to till?
Yeah.
Without magic?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're tripping.
Yeah. So here's my undead, mage out there tilling the ground when he could be, pyroblasting somebody in a raid. So
put out a wet floor sign because you be tripping.
That's right. Well, but that was the thing, I mean, okay, so that would draw that might draw a different audience into World of Warcraft and get them into it.
Wait,
but they had to get so far in the game that, I mean, you had to be level 70 or 80 or something.
Well, and you have to pay for the subscription. Who are they trying to win over?
Yeah. Yeah,
they're like, you want to play Farmville? That's free.
I'm going to be honest with you.
You can
getting
farm
a
immediately?
Nintendo Switch was cheaper, and buying all these games that I have for my Nintendo Switch was cheaper than continuing to play World of Warcraft.
Man.
Yeah.
I played WoW for a little bit, but it was kind of after me. It took too long for me to get a PC and internet that could run it, And so I got big into Star Wars: The Old Republic, though. That was fun. I played that a lot, my brother and I.
Well, going back to Dead Space, so I read that it's got really good reviews. Everybody seemed to love it. They fixed some stuff in it that's got, it uses the speaker and the controller, the PlayStation controller to scare you even more.
Oh my goodness!
It's got the movement and ability and the haptics, low and high vibrations in the controller for different segments.
What a marketing move too! Think about the amount of controllers that have been broken or dropped, and they're you gotta go buy another one.
Well, and so that kind of rolls into the next part of this is right. I think it was before, after, same time. I'm not sure. It was pretty close to this. The PlayStation released their new DualSense Edge controller. It's a $200 controller.
What?
Yeah, it's almost half of what the system. It's half of the all digital system, and they and I mean
$200.
Yes.
Hey, I just bought this brand new Switch. I bought a controller for the same amount of money.
Right. Well, and
That's wild.
And I'll tell you this. One of our
$200.
one of our esports kids tells me the other day, he's like, I'm gonna get this new PlayStation controller, and I'm like, buy an OLED. I mean, you're only spending like $100 more. You're getting an OLED instead of buying a controller, which probably has the battery life of 45 minutes, like the other controllers. Because I mean, the haptic triggers, all that stuff is really neat. But man, yes, it's cool to pull the trigger and there's some tension in it, and you're just say like Hogwarts Legacy, for example. You're flying on your broom, you can feel the wind. It's like you can almost feel the wind in the controller. I mean, it's really neat.
Yeah.
But the controller battery only lasts 45 minutes. I mean, in one sitting.
Is there a way to is there multiple like battery packs you can have?
No, it's chargeable.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a chargeable controller.
So I wonder if many
the
people
battery's built into the controller.
I wonder if they're just gonna keep it charging the whole time. Which I know you're gonna mess your battery up.
I can tell you this. I mean, I you talk about battery life and battery drain and stuff like that. I can sit there and I bought 2 controllers when I got my PS5. I have one controller charging, so when this one dies, I can go swap them out.
Yeah.
And I've had to do that multiple times in almost one sitting because Hogwarts Legacy for like Dead Space uses all this. It uses everything that the controller offers, which is neat. I mean, that to me was worth buying it that way.
Well, you're probably gonna see a lot more games doing that.
Well,
right?
if you're gonna spend $70 on a game, why not get it on the console that you're getting the most out of?
Is that how much? Does that come with anything additional, like DLC or anything like that?
I bought the deluxe edition, which was like $10 more, I think, and it did come with.
So you dropped 80 on it, or did that make it 70?
No, that made it 80.
So the game itself is now 70.
Base $70. Well, all PS5 and Xbox Series X games now are $70.
They're going up. See, I don't have either one, so
they've gone up. And I mean, is it worth? Well, I mean,
we're getting closer and closer. Inflation's hitting everything, man.
And that's the thing, like with Dead Space, if they give it the love that I mean, if they fix some stuff, they give it the love that they put into that and Hogwarts Legacy and stuff like that, then yes. I mean, is it worth $70? I mean, absolutely. If it's a game that I can spend a bunch of hours in and it's got a bunch of neat features and stuff, I mean, I would spend it again. But this thing has this new DualSense Edge controller's got like changeable stick caps and stick sensitivity. You can change your stick sensitivity. I guess
That's
for like dead
wild.
zones and stuff, or if you're playing a first-person shooter or something competitive, or
that's cool. I wonder if you can have like preset, where like you can just put it in like a specific mode, like FPS mode, right? So you don't have to like constantly go back to or is it like on the actual controller, or do you do it like in the settings option?
I think you do it on the settings on the controller. Right. I'm not sure.
See, because if that's the way, if you're not adjusting it actually on the controller, like manually, then it would be an awesome feature to be able to have like a preset, right? Like where you can have it, or like a button on the controller that you can click to like, this is preset 1, this is preset 2, preset 3, and then and so like it'll analyze what that is and how what settings you have attuned to the presets.
Well, and like with the triggers, since they already have tension built into them, so with this controller, they added like sliders, so you can set it for medium or short. So if you're if you're playing a game where you just want to like barely click it, it will short stop.
That's crazy. That's really good.
I mean, it's kind of
cheap. It's kind of cheating.
No, it's got function buttons, adjustable stick sensitivity, back buttons, and button mapping.
Can you imagine playing like Mario Party? Which I know I understand it's not Nintendo, but can you imagine playing something like a Mario Party like game that like requires like some of the mini games require you to have like perfect like balance or something like that, and you have to click a button a certain amount of times or like a certain depth in order to go somewhere, and you just have it preset to where like all you have to do is barely tap it, and it like.
I'm thinking
that's crazy. Cheat.
I want a controller where I can do a 1-button finisher in Mortal Kombat.
Pay to win.
Pay to win.
It's pay to win. Call it Diablo Immortals. Pay to win. Dude, so crazy.
That's crazy. Well, so we're gonna move on to this next section. And again, we wanted to record again last week when this happened, and it's a kind of a good thing that something came up, because I think we were scheduled to record Tuesday, and we ended up not being able to. Something came up, and it was good because there wasn't a whole lot to talk about. And then like Wednesday drops and 4:00 gets here, and
listen, I'm telling you, I got some stuff laid away. If you just want to talk about random stuff, I got you, man.
Well, I mean, and then the Nintendo Direct drops. I mean, we've been waiting on this February Direct, and people had been talking about it coming out and all this stuff. And man, did they hit every itch.
Yeah.
I mean, so they started, it was like, and again, I think we've talked about this before. If math is involved in a game, I'm not going to play it. And Pikmin 4, as good as the game looks, I mean, anything that comes from Nintendo, Pikmin 4, I mean, I think one of the best looking games on Switch is Luigi's Mansion. With all the shadows, and I mean, they really did that game right. And I mean, that's the first Luigi's Mansion that I actually sat and played all the way through from start to finish. I loved it. It was an awesome looking game.
Awesome.
To the point to where you didn't realize the Switch could actually produce something like that, And then, so Pikmin 4 is coming out in July. I think it's the 21st. We got some new Xenoblade DLC. Volume 3's got a new character. Again, one of my buddies is going to knock me for this. I'm not I love Xenoblade. Mm-hmm. I love all three. I've played 3 of them. I have not played Xenoblade. I think it's Chronicles X on the Wii U, because I have a Wii U, but I never bought it because I was hoping that they were going to port it to Switch.
Yeah.
And so I love Xenoblade. I'm not a big fan of going back into it just for the DLC characters. I like to run through it because, I mean, the Xenoblade games have such an amazing story. And I actually think the DLC releases today. We were recording on a Wednesday, so it releases today.
Yeah.
But and the DLC comes with like a $20 or $30 price tag, and that's not so bad when you realize that the 4th volume of the Xenoblade DLC is an extra story, and it's like usually a 15 to 25 hour ish story. So I noticed they were bringing some characters back. I think you actually see Shulk and Rex, and they're bringing Noah from Xenoblade 3 into it. It looks pretty neat. Dead Cells. You ever played Dead Cells?
I know of it. I've never played it.
A very frustrating game. I have it on Switch.
Kind of reminds me of like Shovel Knight and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, kind of. It's very like Castlevania-ish.
Yeah, it's like a side scroller, and you're.
But everything's different every time you go in.
No, it's a roguelike.
Yeah, it is absolutely a roguelike. If you die, you start all the way back at the beginning.
Do you have like permanent buffs that you get, like
yes,
with like currency that you go through like a run, and then you come back and then you can buy those buffs?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
I love games like that.
So Dead Cells is really. I mean, you might check out Dead Cells, but because they have
I've seen it all over, like.
I mean,
all over
it's
the place.
Fun.
It's everywhere.
I mean, I sunk a few hours into it. I just kept to the point to where I was upgrading, and I just kept getting frustrated, and I thought it was a good time to put it down. But with the Return to Castlevania DLC, I may be picking that back up because I love me some Castlevania. Castlevania, like Metroid, and I mean stuff like that. That's what
Taking out Dracula.
Taking out Dracula.
As a Belmont.
And I know you're a big fan of story-based games, lots of text and reading.
Oh, I love it.
So, are you a fan of
my favorite,
like Tron?
Tron?
Yes.
I'll be honest with you, I've never played Tron.
No, have you ever watched Tron?
Tron? Oh yeah, I've
The
watched
movies?
Tron. Yeah.
Okay. So they have a game called Tron Identity. That is a story-based decision-making game coming out in April.
Oh,
That is on
interesting.
That would have been on my list, but unfortunately, I'm tied to.
Is it kind of like you ever play Zor?
No.
Like, so you remember back in Call of Duty Black Ops 1?
Oh yeah.
When
yeah.
you can like get out of the, you know how like in the intro moment, the title screen or whatever, where like you're trapped in the chair, and you can click like RT or you can click all of your top buttons a bunch, and like eventually you'll break out of the bands,
Right.
and like you can walk around. Well, you know, if you go to the computer, you can enter in some like codes that will unlock stuff. So like one of them will unlock like a new map for a couple new maps for for the zombies, right? And then one of them is you unlock Zor, which is
Shout
like,
out again to that my healer in Call of Duty.
I got your Riz. But Zor is like I think it's like one of the very first games ever made. And it's nothing but text, right? But it's like, it puts you in little scenarios. So it's like you're walking down a path in the woods, and it forks, and you can go left or right. Which one are you choosing, right? And like, as you progress, like, and there's battles and things like that. But it's interesting that like, it's almost, this is gonna be a little strange. It's almost like playing D&D, but like just in text form, if that makes sense.
Okay, so now I have a question. This is completely off topic.
Yeah.
But you brought it up, so we're gonna open this can.
Yeah.
All right. So
That's all right.
What did you watch Super Bowl?
I did not.
You did not. Okay. Have you seen the new Dungeons and Dragons trailer?
Dungeons and Dragons trailer. I cannot say that I have. Is that the one? Does it have Chris Pine in it?
Yeah.
I've seen it a long time ago. Like when it first got released. What was it, like 2 years ago?
There was
something like that.
There was a new trailer over the.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Is it like? How is it? The first one wasn't bad. I don't think.
The first Dungeons and Dragons movie.
I don't.
Way back in the day was horrible. I think the best part of that movie was. Oh, let me think.
I don't foresee myself watching it, the new one, even though I'm a huge fan of D&D.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't have anything to do with D&D.
Oh, really?
I think it's just capitalizing on
the fact that, you know, D&D is making like a resurgence, right? Like it's like huge right now.
Really?
Oh yeah, tons of people are doing it. Like you got a bunch of celebrities playing, and like you got, I mean, just people that aren't even like. I'll just call a spade here. People that aren't even like super duper nerdy, like how D&D used to, you know, their fan base used to be. Yeah, that's not even like, that's not the requirement anymore, right? It's just if you want to play. Okay. Which is great because I enjoyed it. For those who don't know, I've been in a campaign for going on 4 years now. Actually, I think it's going on 5 now. And we're at the final boss. We're just waiting. A lot of stuff has happened since then. So we've been on like a 2 or 3 month hiatus. Mm-hmm. We showed up to the final boss.
Pause.
Then we had to take a pause. And forgot our battery pack. So now we can't unpause the controller. So,
well, I will tell you. Okay, so just looking back, I mean. Okay, Dungeons and Dragons, the original movie, released in 2000.
So I didn't see it, but I looked at, I think, a trailer of that as well, or something like that.
The best,
or maybe some clips.
The best thing of this movie was Jeremy Irons was in it, and Jeremy Irons is
great.
Yeah, he's a fabulous actor. I hate he was in this movie.
Yeah, kind of tarnished. Kind of made his reputation go down a little bit.
If you get a 3.6 on IMDb,
Yeah,
that's pretty bad.
well, hopefully, I like Chris Pine. I think he's a great actor. I think he's kind of underrated because I think he actually can act. You know.
I've never really seen him in anything except for the newer Star Trek movies.
Yeah, which I thought he was great in. You know, and those newer ones, it kind of reminds me of a. This is gonna sound bad too. I doubt they'll ever watch this. I mean, Chris Pine, I'm sorry if you ever watch this, listen to it, but kind of reminds me of like a budget Robert Downey Jr. Like a budget Robert Downey Jr. in those movies because he's so like sarcastic and snarky but he's like witty and so
but he's no Iron Man.
No, he's not. He's not. But anyways,
we
I got way off topic.
Now you have to go watch the trailer and let me know next week what you think. And I want your honest opinion because you are a D&D.
He's a bard.
Yes.
I don't see him as a bard.
No.
Like a bard is supposed to be. I don't know. I don't know if he has any musical prowess. Like, what is he?
I think he was in a musical.
Oh my!
And like in the woods or something like that.
You're right.
I think he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, Into the Woods. Yeah. That was a sad movie.
We never watched it.
That movie took such a turn. Anyways, let's get back on topic. We're chasing so many rabbits. We done started a rabbit herd, man.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've gotten together to do this, so we got to stay on topic.
We're just chatting at this point.
So okay. You're gonna laugh. Omega.
You didn't even have to say anything.
Omega Strikers.
Omega Strikers. What in?
Okay, so this is a
Omega
free.
Strikers?
Okay, do you remember the old Windjammer game? I think it re-released on Switch, and then Windjammers 2 came out. Well, to capitalize on that, somebody thought, "Oh, we're going to copy this, but we're going to make it competitive. We're going to do 3v3, and we're going to release it for free."
Huh.
So, luckily it is free. So I guess
is it out?
It comes out in April. I think the 27th.
I mean, at the end of the day,
if it's free, I'll try it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give it a shot.
You ain't got nothing to lose, but maybe time.
I mean, I tried the what was the game?
Excuse me, guys.
What was the dodgeball game for Switch? I tried it.
The dodgeball game.
Yeah, there's a dodgeball game for. Well, actually, I think it was for Switch, PC, or I don't know if it's PC.
You can dodge a ball. That's all I know.
What is it? Let's see. Okay, so you said you're a fan of old Dragon Quest, right?
Oh yeah,
all the old Dragon Quest games.
Yep.
So I'm probably gonna butcher this.
I do like
Etrian Odyssey.
Huh.
It is a. So I was looking at the trailer again last night, and the fighting style looks similar to old Dragon Quest, where you don't actually see your character; you just see what you're fighting, and then the text. And stuff.
I like that. Yeah.
So this is all 3 games re-released in HD, and
so they're older. They're older games.
Yeah, they're older games. I don't remember if that was one that ever came to America or not.
Kind of like what was that one that you were playing? Data Live? What is it? What was it called?
What was it?
That one game. That one game that you played multiple different characters.
Oh, that was Live Alive.
Live Alive.
Yeah, Live Alive was really good. But these have the old school sprites, kind of like I mean, of course they've done them in HD, so it's that kind of HD 2D kind of.
Yeah. Well, you know me and sprites, man.
I
like some sprites. I don't much care for like 3D. I like 3D models, but I feel like I don't know. Maybe it's my brain, but I kind of get overwhelmed. I'm like that's why like every game that's coming out right now is like open world and has all these options, and I'm like that's great, but I never finish any of them. Like any of them.
Well, and
you get stuff like Red Dead and
there again. That's
Arceus.
That's why I'm trying to do my only X number of games, for this year, is because I just don't have the time to put in. And if I'm going to spend like $70-$80 on a game, I want to at least finish it.
Yeah.
So
that's why I just stick to Pokemon Unite.
Yeah, there you
Stomp
go.
a bunch of 10-year-olds into the dirt.
So
dunk on their head.
I saw something. There was another game in the Direct. It was called Deca Police. Now it's okay. It's going to sound really weird. It is a turn-based combat, something like like your typical Final Fantasy or something like that. They are in a virtual world, so all the moves and stuff are like you would imagine like some sword art or some kind of like computer-generated weapons or whatever. But there's also like a little bit of Ace Attorney kind of solving puzzles and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, like cool. Actual police, a little bit of police work. Nothing like Astral Chain. Astral Chain was an amazing anime/police game for Switch that if you have not picked that up, you definitely need to pick that up and play it. But Deca Police looks really good, and I don't think they gave a release date for it, but I'm going to be watching out for that one. Hopefully it'll be 2024 and I'll be on my next, I won't have to like put that one to the side and be like, well, maybe next year. Splatoon 3 got some DLC.
Yeah.
That's I mean it looks okay. I mean I love Splatoon. But the DLC for this one, I just don't know. I'll probably just wait for it to release on the what's it called, the Plus expansion for the Nintendo Online.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it'll eventually. That game I was thinking of is Knockout City. That was actually made by EA. I think it was EA. Yeah, I think it was EA. So Knockout City was it's like Fortnite but with dodgeballs. And so you like jump around the rooftops of the city and stuff and like chunk dodgeballs.
Oh yeah, I've seen. So
I played it for a while when it first came out, and it came out in 2021. And I played it for a little while, and then I got bored of it. And then they had some Ninja Turtle DLC, or not DLC, but it was rewards and stuff that you could get. And of course, I'm a big Ninja Turtle fan from back in the early, late 80s, early 90s. I was
speaking of old movies. How'd you like it? I actually enjoyed it.
What?
The old Ninja Turtle movies?
Oh, like the originals?
Yeah, they're great.
I mean, I remember so the first one came out close to my birthday, I think. And I remember going to the movie theater and sitting in the theater and watching it.
Honestly, I'd prefer those probably over the new ones.
I don't like the new ones. I don't like the new Ninja Turtles. I'm not a big new Transformers fan, but
sounds to me like you just don't like Michael Bay.
I'm not a big Bay fan.
Maybe you just need to spice your life up a little bit. Add a little explosion to your life.
No.
Feel the Bay.
No. Michael Bay has.
Yo, if Barney runs again, we're getting way off topic. You remember how his slogan was "Feel the burn"?
Feel the burn.
What if his campaign or running mate is Michael Bay?
Michael Bay.
Yeah, feel the Bay.
Well, neither one of them could read from a teleprompter.
Well, if it's in the vicinity of Michael Bay, it would explode.
Well, I mean, I just remember I remember this interview Bay had with somebody. I don't remember who it was, but he comes out and he's talking about Transformers, and I don't know if he couldn't read the teleprompter or if it messed up or something like that. And the guy asked him a question, and he's like, pure silence, and he got this awkward look on his face, and he just walked out. Like, what is going on?
There's not enough tannerite here.
I mean, even our current president may read the teleprompter wrong, but I mean, at least
he's liable to fall asleep. But.
Well, that's true. They've got him.
Feel the Bay.
Feel the Bay.
How did we get here?
Oh, I don't know. We go from Splatoon 3 to...
You know those movies where like it shows like a dire thing at the very beginning of the movie where it shows like somebody like about to get eaten or something. It's like and then it like pauses frame, and it's like, yeah, that's me. I bet you're wondering how we got here.
It's like the vaping ads.
The ones where like the people used to be at like a couch.
Yeah.
So if you do this, you'll become a couch.
Oh, that's great. Oh man.
I feel like our listeners just on their side are just hearing nothing but like me giggling and coughing. It's just me giggling and coughing.
That's all right. That's all right. Some of them understand.
Yeah. Welcome to the Dragon's Well.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyways.
Oh man. So Fire Emblem Engage is getting some DLC. Actually, I think it's already had DLC. Maybe, I don't know. They announced some new heroes and stuff. I still have yet to pick that up. So I know that a guy I watch on YouTube, he was live streaming some of it, talking about how much he loved it. And
that's kind of how I am right now when it comes to like gaming. It's just a lot of my gaming and my gaming experience and like enjoyment kind of comes vicariously through others now. Mm-hmm. It's just like, because if I'm going to game something that first off I want to game, and most of the time a lot of it has to do with like incorporating my buddies and playing.
Yeah.
Right. So it's more like we're playing competitive things and whatnot because we don't get a lot of time to play anymore. So it's like Fire Emblem's great, looks great, has a great score, which is symbolic of it, or probably speaking testaments of it being a great game. Mm-hmm. But it's like, well, would I get it? I don't got the time, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch.
Well,
I'm going to watch videos and experience it through you.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, like prior to starting school, starting back to school, I had all the free time in the world. I mean, I would go to work, and then I'd come home, and of course we'd do stuff with the family and everything. But at night, kids go to bed. That's all I had to do was game. Now I've got papers to write, which thankfully
it's coming to an end.
It's coming to an end in May, week before Legend of Zelda. Thankfully,
dude, that's crazy.
We're almost there. So
yeah.
But I'll tell you, so we were talking about sprites earlier with the Etrian Odyssey. So Octopath Traveler 2 is coming out.
Great.
First one
looks beautiful.
I loved the first one. I ended up giving it to a buddy of mine because one, there were a couple frustrating things in it that I just, at the time, I did not have time for. And I think something else had come out, and I thought, well, I'll give this to him. He'll probably enjoy it more than I will.
Yeah.
And I think he did. I think he ran through. I actually think he beat it with every character. I think he went back from the starting point and beat it with most of them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, so got money out of it,
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If I'm going to spend that much money on something, I want to get my money's worth out of it. So,
agreed.
Another sprites game, kind of a turn-based RPG, Sea of Stars.
Sea of Stars.
It's a turn-based rhythm game. I believe it's. I don't know how much the rhythm actually plays into it. There is a demo on the eShop right now.
Okay.
And so I meant to check that out before we did this, but I just kind of ran out of time.
Is it like a JRPG?
Yeah.
Like thing?
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Or Japanese influenced rhythm game?
Yeah. I mean, it looks really good, and I mean, I think the rhythm part plays more into.
And it's turn based?
Yeah, so
I gotta look at that.
I think when you attack, I think depending on the rhythm of the attack and when you hit the button, determines like a boost in your attack. I think is what I saw last night. I watched this pretty quick. I watched it when it came out, and then partially watched it the stuff that I actually cared about. Obviously, we're not going to discuss the. What was it? Or some fashion game. I mean, I don't think the listeners that we have probably are going to want to care anything about some fashion type game. But
listen, I can't even maintain my own fashion. Well, what am I going to do talking to you guys about fashion?
Well, I know that's what when it came to the DLC for Animal Crossing, I'm like, yeah, I'm not an interior designer. I want no part of this. Now, you want me to cut down some trees? I will chop down your entire forest.
Yeah,
but no. So, kind of staying with that like RPG turn-based strategy stuff.
sounds like that. There was a lot.
There was a lot in this direct, man, and that's the thing, so Advance Wars they finally are releasing it. It's coming out in April. It's one of those that like Fire Emblem. It plays very much like Fire Emblem. It is. I want to say. I know that they had postponed it almost for a whole year, and I think they did that because of the Ukraine and Russia situation. Yeah. I think that was because one of the characters resembles I don't think he looks like a Russian military leader, but like your typical.
And we might get a little spicy here, but like, why does it matter? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I think at the time, Ukraine was I think it had just started.
No, don't get me wrong. I don't agree with what took place, and I'm not going to get political here. But it's like, why does the character
of does Nintendo Japan care or what?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, but why does the character's design, unless it's like just way over the top in terms of like scandalous looking.
And see, I was gonna say I didn't think it did. I didn't think it did. But
it'd be different if they had like specific symbols that we're not going to go into detail, but you can use your imagination on it. If he has that on his cloak or something,
right.
Clearly, but
well, and
just
I think
looking like a Russian, it doesn't make you a bad guy.
Right. So, well, and it's a thing, like I think maybe I don't know. I've never played the original, so I can't say that. Maybe there's a mission where you invade Russia or something like. I have no idea.
How the turntables.
Yeah, I mean that'd be rolling up in the Russia's front door. Oh, this episode's gonna get pulled. I can see it now.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have both Russian blimps and Chinese blimps over us. Oh man.
Oh, and America's gonna be watching all of our socials.
Good.
All of our
get some more views.
Hey, if you're listening to those agents, thank you.
Yeah.
For contributing to the Dragon's Well.
Welcome to the Dragon's Well. If you'd like to pray with us at the end,
yeah, please stick around for that. So my kid's gonna kill me if I don't mention this. So I got two boys, and both of them love. They both love video games. Mm-hmm. One of them is an avid, like, lives, breathes Pokemon. I mean, and he's rolling up on that age where if he thought he could leave home and go catch Pokemon, the dude'd be out the door.
Yeah.
Now he's a homebody. He loves to stay home. He loves to hang out with his mom and dad. And but if he knew that out there in the world there were Pokemon to be caught, and he had to leave the house at 10 to do this, dude'd be walking out the door. Be like, peace out, I'm going. But
that's what's up.
My other one, my little boy, he likes Pokemon. He likes a lot of stuff that Big Brother likes, but man, is he a Kirby fan.
Yeah.
So, we've talked about Kirby Return to Dreamland already before, but so this Nintendo Direct, not only did they show some of the stuff that they've shown before, they also introduced, which he's excited about because he loves Magalore, which is this little like wizard character in Kirby, So they've added an entire extra story segment where you get to play as Magalore. So
they consulted with him for sure.
Oh yeah, so you have to beat the game. You have to beat the game first, but that along with the mini games, it's an HD version of the Wii I mean, that's
yeah.
Now,
It's everything you need.
This is where we're going to get into some issues, though.
I mean, listen, we're already getting banned, so
it's $60.
$60.
It's a $60 game, and
or is $60 remake?
yeah, I mean, it looks a lot like a port. I mean, the demo's out on the eShop now. You guys can download it, give it a try. He's played it. He brought a Switch to me the other day. He's like, "Dad, I can't get to level 5." I'm like, "Dude, I'm sorry. What do you want me to do?"
Oh, on the demo?
Yeah, he's like, "Fix it." I'm like, "But it's the demo."
Yeah.
So
he's like, I didn't ask what it is.
So I put this little shortcut on my phone. Now he can, like, if he's like, "Dad, how many days before Kirby?" I'm like, "Well, let's check." And I open my phone and I click the shortcut, and it's like pops up and tells him how many days, hours, minutes, seconds before Kirby's coming out.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, a huge Kirby fan and loves Magalore. So, for him, I already got it pre-ordered. I'm just waiting on it to show up on the doorstep. Yeah. So,
that's what's up.
He's excited. So we finally got Game Boy and Game Boy Advance releases.
I'm excited. Listen, there's a few GBA games that I would be down for, but I mean, obviously the main ones are the Pokemon ones.
Well, okay, so
some Pokemon games on there.
So
when they added Stadium, I haven't bought it yet, but I'm really, when there comes a time where my boredom sets in enough, I'm swiping that card and I'm buying the premium or the plus or whatever it's called. I'm downloading the 64 and I'm playing through all of Stadium.
Oh yeah.
It was like one of my favorites, and so I'm ready for GBA Pokemon games.
Nice. Well, I saw that.
Bring the sprites.
So, okay, so I booted up, and I hadn't played because I wanted to talk about how well they played, and so I booted up the Game Boy last night, and I was playing through Tetris. Mm-hmm. Kids sat there like watch me play Tetris, and I'm gunning through Tetris, and that was fun. And then I played Wario Land. Mm-hmm. Apparently, there was a reason I didn't play Wario Land back then. I'm not a big Wario Land fan, but I played through it. I mean, it was fun. Mario, Sea of Coins or something like that. It was Mario Land is what it was.
Okay.
And it was, I think it's the second one. I remember owning the first one on the original Game Boy, but not the second one. So it was kind of neat to play through it. It's fun. It plays pretty well. I didn't see a whole lot of hiccups or anything. I did kind of put that down after that, though, and I switched over to the GBA games because, I've been itching to play Minish Cap, Legend of Zelda. Mm-hmm. Never played it before.
Really?
Mm-mm. So last night I started it, and I actually started that, and I started Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga because, again, I mean, there were so many games on the Game Boy Advance that, I mean, I missed so much because, obviously we didn't have the internet back then. We didn't have access to, all the stuff that we've got access to now. I mean, I had no idea when games came out.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day.
Well, see, so around the GBA, I gotta tell this story, man. I have to. I might incriminate myself.
Hey, that's okay. We're getting banned anyways, so
yeah,
let's go for it.
Well, I incriminate my mom, really, but it's all right. She'll be fine. I'll pay for your bond. So I grew up in Houston, right? Mm-hmm. So, or the outskirts of Houston, like Willis, Conroe area.
Right.
And so, whenever I was there, I forgot what we were doing, but we were just out and we're like in a parking lot somewhere, right? We're getting ready to leave, and a guy rolls up on a bike, like just pedals on to us, like we had like an appointment with him,
right?
And he rolled up to my mom at the time, and I had my older sister, my older brother with us, and he just rolls up and he's like, "Hey," he said, "Would you like to buy something? Or would you like to buy this Game Boy SP off me?" And Mom's like, well, no, I'm not gonna buy anything off of you. I'm trying to get somewhere. She's like, I don't have the kind of cash. We're strapped for cash. So she's like, I don't have that kind of cash to be able to buy no game system from you. So he's like, no, it's all right, it's all right. He's like, what do you got? And she's like, listen, I can't buy this. It won't, it's not gonna work. He's like, listen, I'll give it to you for $20. And Mom's like, okay. Gave it to him. Now, it didn't come with a charger, but that was an easy fix, right?
Yeah, right, right.
Run up there to the store and get a charger. But so we bought this SP. We bought this SP, and it came. The only game that it came with was one of the Yu-Gi-Oh games, right? Which the Yu-Gi-Oh games on the GBA. I don't know if you played any of them.
Mm-mm.
Great. Oh, like all of the Yu-Gi-Oh games on Game Boy Advance are like top tier. They're super good games.
Was the SP was the one that flipped open? Right?
Yes.
Okay.
The SP was the one now I had a Game Boy Advance, just the normal one.
Now see, I didn't have a Game Boy Advance. I had the Game Boy Advance SP.
He rolled up, sold it to us. No joke. Like later that week, start hearing rumor from the people around there that there's a guy that's hidden up the local Walmarts there and taking SPs. We're like, and I was like looking at my SP. I was like, this is stolen. I just look at this SP. I was like, oh no, there's a reason why he sold it for $20.
Technically, you paid for it. I mean, you paid for it. He didn't pay for it, so you can't get in trouble for it. You paid $20. He
flipped the profit. You know what I mean?
I mean, shoot, yeah, he did.
0 to 20. There's a reason why. I was like, man, like both of these, like this game alone is more than what we're giving you.
I mean, from a business standpoint, that's 200%.
But dude out there banking on his bicycle. But we heard that and we're like, and so like it was like cursed for like a day, and then I was like, ain't nobody gonna care. Yeah,
I mean, it's not like they're not gonna have serial numbers and pull them on. No.
Yeah, so to knock off another 10 minutes there for you. But I'm telling you, I got some wild stories. You want to hear some stories about, especially a lot of them tie in with gaming somehow too.
That's funny. That's funny. I mean, that was our first experience with Pokemon because, of course, we had the link cable from Game Boy to Game Boy. Trying to get, and I think there was a glitch in like Red and Blue where if you ended up getting like transferring all of the starters over, the game would glitch.
Really?
Yeah, I think there was a glitch in the original. But I remember that. So
you ever done the Mew glitch where you get the Mew?
No.
Yeah, there's a Mew in the
Mew glitch.
Yeah. It's you can do it as soon as you get to Cerulean. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you go up Nugget Bridge, you go over to the side, catch an Abra, and as soon as you catch that Abra, or you go and you catch an Abra, and then you step into the first patch of grass, like going towards like if you're getting ready to swim to go to the hidden cave that Mewtwo's in.
Yeah.
As soon as you make eye contact, there's a trainer there. That trainer will make eye contact with you. If you can pause it right when they're getting ready to walk towards you, like so you engage eye contact and they're getting ready to walk towards you, you pause it, and then you go and you teleport, and it'll take you to Cerulean. And as soon as you go to Cerulean, you go up there and you click on the van. There's a truck there. And you got to go click on the truck, and Mew will be under the truck.
Oh,
and
cool.
You can catch a level 5 Mew.
Wow.
And you have Mew through the remainder of the game. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
I don't know why it's in there or like who found it, but they were like,
cool.
They're like, this is how you get Mew.
That's how you get Mew.
And I was like, that's wild.
That's like, awesome.
Who? But anyways.
Well, I will tell you that about the only thing, kind of getting back on task here, we the only thing I might break my numbers for my games is I think it's Biting Kaitos 1 and 2 remaster. I think we talked about it before.
Yeah.
So it's again turn based, but it's based off like card deck battling also. So determined like what your move sets are, I guess. And anyways, that the remaster looks really good. I'm excited for it. We got some Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, new courses coming with the next volume of the DLC, and they're bringing Birdo into it. So not only are we getting new courses, but we're also getting a new character. who in a 10-year-old game. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still supporting a 10-year-old game, so that's great. I can't wait. So I would say, man, I got a couple other things here. Nintendo's got some vouchers. You can buy 2 vouchers for $100. They expire in a year. You can buy, you can pick 2 games with that $100. So in leading up to that, make sure you don't buy the wrong game, and make sure you buy like 2 $60 games, or in Legend of Zelda's case, now they've bumped the price up to $70. So Tears of the Kingdom is going to be $70. So you'd save $20 there. Anything you can do to do that.
Yeah, they're trying to compete with, I'm sure.
Well, I'm sure that $10 price up was probably part of that class action lawsuit with the Joy-Con.
Yes.
So I read this article. I couldn't help but laugh because, there was a class action lawsuit on the Joy-Cons, and Nintendo comes back and they're like, it was turned down. So the parents were like, but the kids own the device, and the kids are, and so now all these kids are suing Nintendo. And Nintendo comes back and is like, no, you can't do that. The kid can't legally own the Switch because you have to be 18 and you have to have your parents' permission. So the parents own the Switch. So, I mean, I think all that whole thing was a flaw, but they apologized, and I mean, they've got a program where they fix them for free. I got sent a couple of mine off, and I mean, they,
Sounds like a lot of semantics, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
Well, but Nintendo's kind of notorious for that too, though.
Well, I mean, all consoles are. I mean, everything's got stick drift now.
Well, no, I'm talking about like coming after people.
Oh, yeah.
Nintendo does that often.
Well, I mean,
they were cracking down a while back with, which I understand, but like pirated things.
Yeah,
on the internet, Yeah. I understand, but like, you don't really see Microsoft or Sony really coming after people because they do that. Even though it is illegal activity unless you own the copy.
But does Xbox and Sony have anything worth going back and stealing?
Well, and here's the thing too: is like emulators are hard to get.
Well, yeah.
For those two things, right? So like emulators aren't something that you can. Like I think they just now are coming out with like Xbox 360 because it just takes so much.
Yeah.
To be able to process, a game like that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. I mean, I get that they're getting pirated probably more than anything else because GBA games are easy. DS games are a lot more compatible now. And even like GameCube games, right?
Well, and that's the thing,
are very easy to be able to emulate and play, and it's not going to completely kill your computer.
Well, right, but I mean the library is so massive for NES and SNES, and I mean Nintendo will never be able to get a lot of those things back on like the Game Boy Advance stuff and things like that. But I mean what they do have and what they've put out so far, I mean. In my opinion, when I first bought the Plus expansion pack for the Nintendo Switch Online, it was not worth it just to have a few 64 games and now that they've added GoldenEye and they've added, now that they've added Game Boy Advance to the mix, it's absolutely...
It's becoming more and more enticing to me because I've never bought it before. I've played it on other, buddies' Switches that have the premium and experienced it, but it's definitely something that's compelling, especially if they add with the new GBA emulators and stuff like that's being offered. I'm excited if they follow through with some of the older Pokemon games. I would really be tempted to pay the, I think it's an annually thing, right?
And so
I think it's like $60 or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's like $50 or $60. I mean, I pay for the $75 thing.
But like that would be, like I said, that would be pretty worth it with me. I love, I love those older games. I like the new Pokemon games, but something about these newer ones, they're not
It's the sprites.
It might actually be the sprite. It's not. I don't know. Like, I'm gonna start some controversy here, but I think personally, to me, like Black and White was probably my favorite games.
Well,
I really enjoyed Black and White because they were on like that precipice between going to 3D models, but not quite yet.
Yeah.
But they gave life to the sprites themselves too.
I actually like the chibi style was it Pearl?
Yeah, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.
Yeah, I liked the chibi versions of that. Now, when it went into when it shifted to the actual battle,
battles.
yeah, I mean that
it wasn't as refined, I think, as but like I said, I mean, even some of those older games like, Crystal was great.
Oh yeah.
All of the original Pokemon games are great.
And I missed a bunch of that. So I mean, I kind of would like to see some of it. I don't think a lot of it will go back because I think they're working on re-releases or remakes or something of that nature coming. And I'm gonna say with that, I want to talk. This is probably the last thing. On my list is Metroid Prime Remaster. Yeah. So they shadow dropped this. I mean, of course, everybody knew this was coming. Everybody knew this game had been done. This game was apparently been done for a while. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, when you're looking at a 96 Metacritic score, and you got things like, I'm trying to remember who, just so I can give credit to them. I think it was like Switch Watch or something. They reviewed it. And lighting and shadow improvements, better 3D models, better audio, 60 frames at all times.
Yeah.
Excellent frame pacing. Got a little bit of gyro controls, which they said kind of work. I mean, it's not great. But, I mean, this is going down as like a flawless remaster, a flawless
good
like game and I mean, and so for me, being a Metroid Prime fan, since the original, I mean, I'm excited to see what they can do with a new game. And so I heard that 2 and 3, I don't know if they'll be remasters because they were actually Wii games, I think. Mm-hmm. But man, with this and there again, this is on my list. For one, it's $40, so I'm actually saving a little bit of money.
Yeah.
But with this, I pre-ordered it, the physical version. You can get the digital right now. I mean, you go to the eShop right now and get it. But I was watching some gameplay of it. Man, it looks amazing. Like, it may be one of the best looking games on Switch right now.
When is it supposed to be in?
The physical copy will be here. I think it was supposed to be like into February. I think it's next week. But I think my pre-order got pushed to March, releasing like March 1st, which will be fine because that'll give me time to finish out my Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
I mean, I got about 30 something plus hours in that. So, and that's a great game. I mean, it is. And I'm excited to talk about it. I think, probably postpone that for a later episode. I've got a buddy that's kind of wanting to come out and discuss some of that stuff too.
Some talking,
some technical discussions with it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he got it on PS5 too. So I mean, we're probably going to be talking. I don't know about any of the other issues or whatever.
I'm wondering. I'm predicting, at least, and we're not going to speak much on it, but I'm predicting that there's going to be some sort of like hot patches.
There's going to have to be because I'm stuck on a quest. So like, So if you are listening, and you do play this game, I would caution you to, and I don't want to spoil anything, but wait a while before you hit some of these camps up, because if you go into a specific camp and you use and you unlock one of the cages with your spell, and then you get a quest to go back to that camp
To unlock that cage?
To unlock that cage, to release this character's
pet or something?
Pet, you can't unlock it now. So I'm sitting here staring at all these moon calves in this cage with no way to unlock it. There's no door.
Oh, no.
So, I mean, I even tried to kill them all. I mean, I've tried Depulso. I've tried to throwing them up against the cage. I've tried.
Turned them into patties.
Capturing them with my Hogwarts poke bag.
Hogwarts poke bag. I want to be the very best that no one ever was.
I have tried everything, and I talked to my buddy, and he was like, "Hey, did you know that there's shiny magical beasts out there?" I'm like, "You've got to be kidding me!"
There is.
Here we go again. We're shiny.
The
hunting.
shiny rates.
So
flying down.
What are the undead, like undead horses
flying down from here? Oh, we were just talking about that last night. What are they called?
Thestral.
Yeah.
The Thestrals.
Thestrals.
Yeah. So I found a green one. It's like an olive green. So I think I got a shiny Thestral.
Start battling them.
I was pretty excited about that because the first thing you do is you're like, okay, this is a shiny. What would I do in Pokemon? Well, I'm going to take this one and I'm going to breed this one.
Yeah.
So he went straight to the breeding pen. So I don't know. I'm enjoying it though. It's such a good game.
Sounds like Pokemon Legacy's pretty good.
Yeah. Pokemon Legacy is awesome. But it's got something for everybody. It really does. And minus the combat being a little difficult, I think anybody can pick this up. And I'll let you know about the combat. I got my oldest. He's picked it up and he's playing it on the easiest mode that there is. So we'll see how the combat treats him. And I mean, anybody that loves Harry Potter would, that world would love this game. So, man, in saying that, I guess that's all I got. Yeah, you got anything else?
No, I think we just about wrap it up.
Go Nintendo for having an awesome direct and actually giving us some stuff we wanted and got
some material, got some good laughs.
Yeah, look forward to some
box inside of a box.
Box inside of a box. The only thing we didn't mention, I think, was Tears of the Kingdom, and I mean, I foresee a whole episode on Tears of the Kingdom.
Possibly even more.
I was going to say, maybe we can do some video at that point, and maybe we'll just talk while we're playing. Yeah.
Do a let's play.
Let's play. That's a good idea. That's not a bad idea. So, all right, man. All right.
Well, you guys, those that have been here up to this point, first off, thank y'all for listening up to this point. I think we have done this every single time so far, and I want to be able to continue it. But normally we end off in a word of prayer. Sometimes we have a bit of scripture reading, but unless, I don't know, Maverick, have you prepared anything? Because if not, we can close in prayer. And if you'd like to join, we'd love for you to do so. But
I don't actually think I have anything.
That's all right. Not to put you on the spot. Because I didn't mean it. But
I will tell you that the Hawaiian pigeon bite. You should look that up and have a read.
It's something.
It's pretty good. But no,
it is something. But well, we are going to get ready to close out the podcast, and so we're going to end in a word of prayer. Once again, if you have anything that you would like for us to pray on, if you would like for us to talk about, leave it. And I believe we have comment sections on both Spotify and Apple Podcast. I believe, right?
Yeah, and I think you can actually leave some stuff on Google. If you go to anchor.fm, there's actually a Q&A section that you can you can ask questions and stuff, and we're kind of watching that a lot right now with us getting started. So if you have a question or something you want to add on the podcast or whatever, something you want us to talk about, absolutely just pop that in the comments section or pop it in that Q&A, and we'll either get back to you personally or we'll talk about it on the next episode.
Try to incorporate.
Absolutely.
Oh, we do have to. Well, I don't know if you want to shout them out right now, but there is somebody that we promised that we would shout out.
Yeah, and I was going to get his. I was actually going to get him.
Well, we can shout him out another day. Well, we'll shout him out when we have hopefully a little bit more viewership.
Well, and I would like to get him because I know he's probably listening. He's probably got his mom and dad making him listen to this. So shout out to those good parents that put us on in the car and let your kids listen to us.
That's right.
We do try to stay pretty family friendly, and for those kids, that keep listening, and we'll keep giving you shout outs. But I definitely want to get him in here and get an audio clip from him, because we were going to do that last week, and the end of the week kind of got pretty busy. And
well, so anyways, we're going to get ready to head out. So if y'all will, join with us in a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for today, God. We thank you for this opportunity we've had to be able to have this podcast. Lord, we pray that we can be a positive outreach to those that are listening. God, we want to be able to lift up your name today, Lord, and we love you. We thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you guys for listening.
All right.
Peace.
Peace out.